1968 Packard Bell test set update, September 5th, 2023. This is actually just one day after I released the last video on the CRT bias pot, carbon tracking and shooting out flames and blowing the circuit breaker. Well, of course, that video was released late, so I want to say that was 2 weeks ago when that video was actually the last fault of the TV. But today the fault is no sound. All we have is hum. Just and the hum is adjustable with volume. That's like filter hum or something. Now this set uses a one vacuum tube as the audio output and the detector, and then ahead of that as a sound IF amp, it uses one of these integrated circuits that are known to fail. If you watched the Packard Bell restoration of a backup chassis for this set, oh, that's kind of cool. Then you saw this integrated circuit that was used as a color oscillator that failed. And those early high frequency IF amplifier oscillators, integrated circuits, were used in a lot of the old receivers, Sherwood, Kenwood, Marantz, Pioneer, and they were failing back when they were new. And I remember reading that the design of them, the epoxy dome integrated circuits, when they made them, they were defective because it would cause the connecting wires to separate from the silicon chip or something like that. So I actually bought some backups when I repaired the color on that other chassis. So it's very possible that that's the problem, but I think we probably need to change the tube anyway. I think it's a 6T8. I always get questions about the green halo. Yes, that is cataract. That's the Zenith style yellow halo that Zenith sets get. The Zenith made tubes have that, where the material in there starts to break down and turn to oil where it's subjected to oxygen. It's not bad to watch it. It doesn't need cataract surgery. It's, you know, it's hardly noticeable. Of course, when you're watching TV, the majority of the focus is right in the middle here. So I'm not worried about the cataract. And the other thing I wanted to say is the majority of these failures so far with this set, I don't think they're necessarily age related. They're just related to problems that these sets had, and that especially Packard Bell. The more I look into it, Packard Bell did not have a good reliability record. They needed a lot of service. They weren't like your Zenith or RCA. They were sort of pretty bad. Anyway, the president tests negative for what I keep. It also seems blurry, like the focus is drifted. It's not sharp. I mean, I want my Farsiga to be sharp because I want to get down with Rebelsis. It's not sharp. Methyl silicate. We are now at 4,821 hours. And just talking to friend Ryan about this. He was with us when we picked up these sets. And I mentioned Consumer Reports, and he looked in the 1968 version of Consumer Reports, and they had tested the Packard Bell, the chassis before this, the 98C17, and they didn't go any further because it failed the X-ray radiation emissions test. I'll include some shots of that article at the end of this video. But anyway, so let's see what we got here. So right there is our audio tube, and then down here is that IC right here. Oh yeah, you better. So right there is that IC, that epoxy domed. Come on, focus in on the white dot. Anyway, that is the IC that I bet went bad. Let's do this. Okay. First, let's...
$20 right now, only at Red Lobster. Welcome to fun dining.
Have heart failure with unresolved symptoms? It may be time to see the bigger picture. Heart failure and seemingly unrelated symptoms like carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, and irregular heartbeat could be something more serious, called ATTR-CM, a rare that worsens over time.
I think we have our first bad vacuum tube.
President Biden awarded retired Army Captain Larry Geiger the Medal of Honor. On the night of June 1968, Taylor landed his helicopter in the middle of heavy firefight, swooping in to rescue 4 soldiers.
Well, see, that's, I was assuming it was the IC, but it looks like it's the tube. Let me get another tube. Dig out another 6T10. Found another one here. We're going to just do a hot swap. This is a GE made tube. This is a GE made tube. If this fixes it, I'm going to go on eBay and I'm going to try and find a Sylvania made 6T10. Because I want to try a different brand. Yep.
The latest images show him carrying a duffel bag, a backpack, and a hoodie. Now, this was supposed to be back to school after the long holiday weekend for thousands of kids in this area, but after last night's sightings of Cavalcante were confirmed, school district officials decided at dawn to cancel all classes. 34-year-old Cavalcante was sentenced to life without parole.
Yep. So our first vacuum tube failure was this 6T10. This is a sound detector and audio output. And man, it looks like it's been running pretty hot. Wow, is that hot? Damn. And so our first vacuum tube failed, and it wasn't loss of emissions. It was probably a short or an open cathode or something. At 4,821 hours. I'm going to see if I can find a Sylvania made brand new one.
Her symptoms are described as mild. President Biden has, so far, escaped infection.
President Biden tested negative last night for COVID-19 and tested negative again today. He's not experiencing any symptoms.
Right now, the United States is experiencing a COVID surge. The CDC is reporting an 18% rise in COVID hospitals.
That is kind of true. I know several people who have had it. They all something. Oh boy, here we got the lab coat.
Readily, and they can produce milder infections, even though we've had previous infection and previous vaccination.
Whitney is
Yeah.
not here. She has COVID.
Yeah. They want to bring back some of the restrictions. It's
But she's on the mend.
There's renewed focus today on the president's age. 73% of registered voters say at 80 he is too old to run for re-election. The author of a new Biden,
I got to admit that must hurt. I mean, it's true, but it must hurt.
if Biden drops his 2024 re-election bid before the year is out.
It wouldn't be a total surprise. It wouldn't be a total shock. It wouldn't be a total shock.
So you're cruising along here, right? It's a cheap tube. And what I'm interested in is the Sylvania 6T10 made by Sylvania. And so we go to it and we look at it here. And we see the grayish paint writing on the top. So this is not a GE tube. This is made by Sylvania. Because GE etched, like laser etched into the glass. But anyway, you're cruising along here. And yeah, the tubes are, I don't know, $6-7 a piece, right? And then you come to this nonsense, and you're going, what? And this nonsense. And this nonsense. And then you say, oh, bangy bang tubes. Okay, bangy bang tubes, like, what's up with this? You just look stupid doing this. I mean, what's your philosophy here with the outrageous prices? Is there a philosophy? Is there a marketing thing here? I mean, I surely don't see it. I see numbers like that and I just get scared away. I think, well, this person's just completely insane. I mean, this is completely insane. Maybe Bangy Bang Tubes never took the time to actually research well, this one we can't. I'd like to see the numbering on this to see if this is made by RCA or who it's made by. Oh, it's a vacuum tube that's seller refurbished. Okay, we'll take a pass on that. So here's an example of the RCA. If you look at it, it's a GE. See how it's etched in the glass? It might be in an RCA box, but it's a GE tube. Okay, 6T10. So 6T10 is G3 and B8. So G3 is totally dead. Totally dead. And that is the detector portion of the tube. I'm moving the tube around here. I'm moving the tube around here. Nothing. So if we go to B8, pegged. Now this is why I didn't bother to test the tubes for emissions strength at all during this project, because most of the times I see tubes fail, it's like this. It's something mechanical inside rather than loss of cathode material and lack of emissions. So this, I have a feeling the cathode weld broke off of the detector portion of the tube, because this is a detector, a low power detector, and an audio output. We could probably break this tube and dissect it, and we'll find that the little cathode weld wire is broken or something else. So yeah, mechanical failure of some type. That's why banging on it. Let's go back to G3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna flick it. Well, No. Could get it to work in the set, but not on the tester. It died. Let's get a second opinion here. Then we will compare it to another tube. This is actually a Sylvania made too. And then we'll take that tube apart and we'll see if we can see what failed on it. So D3, nothing, and C8. Okay, not C6, C8. Pay attention. Okay, so that one's good. So D3. So 3 is dead. Let's go to this other one. Here come the airplane. Airplane. This one's a little on the tired side, isn't it? So the emissions on this tube were still very strong. Something mechanically failed in here on pin 3 or in that series of elements. So we look at this. Let's see. And I can see the failure point with magnifying glasses. I don't even need to open the envelope. Let me see if I can get in here close enough. It's the cathode connection. Let me see what I can... This is going to be... Hold on. It'll be very hard. Okay, try and bear with the shakiness. See it? See the cathode? See it's broken right there? Anyway, this is very hard to video with all the reflections off the glass and trying to zoom in and not be shaky, but you can clearly see what broke there. See it hanging in midair right there? And it is the cathode connection. See it being open? There's your 2 filament leads, those white ceramic coated wires. Those are the heater, and they go up into the little tube there. That's the cathode tube. And then the 2 gold studs are your first grid. The studs outside of that are your second grid. The studs outside of that are your third grid. And then, of course, your plate is just the gray. And you can, if you look in here, you can see the grids, the 3 grids. You can definitely see where that cathode tube was welded. Right there, and where it broke off. How the hell did that... I guess when I was banging on it on the tube tester, I caused it to just totally separate, but that... Usually I think they break away from the heated end up there where it connects to the tube where the filaments, but this one just has nothing to do. I don't think it has anything to do with age. This wire should not have fatigued inside this envelope with you know, in a vacuum. Anyway, so there's the failure. It's a mechanical failure. And again, that's... let's take a look at the Sylvania. I could clean it off, couldn't I? So again, let's try and take a look at the Sylvania. This is the good one, and you can see right there is the cathode connection. See, it's connected there. Look at that crappy spot weld. And then you can see it loops and goes up to the cathode tube. This one actually has two connections. I don't know if it's redundancy or what. Anyway, that's a bit poorly manufactured. Oh, there's a better view of it. Again, sorry for the shaky. You can see the grids. Yeah, that's a rather crappy weld. But whatever. At least we see what the failure is, and that it's not an emissions thing. This one has got low emissions, and you can see the getter's kind of gone on this. This one's got some hours on it. This one's only got, what, 4,000 something hours on it, and it's still really strong. But it had a mechanical failure. I did acquire a new old stock Sylvania made 6T tin tube. But in the process, I started to do some research, and it looks like they revised this tube and came out with a newer version of it later called 6AD10, and you can see the date code here, or the date on the 6T10, which is what the set came with, is 1167, and the newer tube is 71. So this tube here is a 4.2 watt audio output. This one is 5 watts. They look identical, except the 6AD10 looks like a little bit heavy dutier of a tube. You can see the filament on this one is 0.95. The filament on the newer one is 1.05. So, I mean, a tiny bit. But all the capacitances are about the same. The voltage tolerances on the newer one are higher. This just seems like an upgraded tube. And the bases are both 12EZ and 12EZ. And the tube substitution chart references this one as a substitute for this one. So I'm all about upgrades. If we can make it better, let's try it. So let's try a GE made 6AD10 in the set. And we're also going to take the Geiger counter to the set and see if we detect any radiation. And I will put some screenshots of this Consumer Reports article into the video. Not that you'll be able to read it, but I'll do it anyway. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent with the radiation thing and the X-rays that Consumer Reports says the Packard Bell TV emits and Geiger counters, but I think we will have a little fun with it, which means it probably will go off on a tangent. A friend gave me this some years ago. I never played with it because I have the Ludlum scintillation counter with 2 different probes, and we'll get that going. But I thought we would play with this. Both of these had problems. I fixed this one. The shield on this wire was broken, so I just wrapped that around. I'm not an expert on Geiger counters and radiation. I've been watching for some years another YouTube channel. If you're interested in this stuff, it's called Radioactive Drew. Go check him out. You'll learn a lot about Geiger counters and radiation. He explores a lot of uranium mines. I've only been in one mine with some radioactivity, and I don't know, I'd like a piece of, I'd like to get a piece of uranium for my rock collection, but I don't know about going into inhaling uranium dust and radon. I think I've already had enough of that for my life. But definitely something to be interested in. So this is, I believe this is a dosimeter. I could read the destructions, yeah, and this is how you recharge it here. I don't know, I doubt that works anymore. This is an ion chamber detector. This one does not work. I think we're going to open this up and see if we can fix it. And this is a GM tube, Geiger Muller tube. Just a regular Geiger counter. And it has the little hot button sampler here on the side of it. And this rotates. Let's see. And it exposes. You can't do it with one hand. So there's the GM tube in there. Like I said, this one works. So we'll try this one on the TV. Let's see if we can fix this one. All I know is it does nothing, and when you turn it to circuit check, it does nothing. So this kit would have been in your fallout shelter, your underground survival shelter, whatever. And this is dated April 63. Of course, this is part of the whole thing with the two symbols on the old AM radios we work on with the 640 and 1240 or whatever it was. And this one's from 77 and this one's from 77. And so let's see, we have probably should start issuing these again right now. They're probably more. So here's your radiological data log. Instructions, recording schedule. Fallout patterns may be plotted consistently. Yes, just what we want to think about. Radioactive dust cloud. Ooh. Sacramento. Wow, Edmund G. Brown. Back when the government actually cared about its citizens, not just put them out to be into the meat grinder. Oh yeah, this is a dosimeter and a dosimeter charge. Okay, let me look at this. And this is the one we want to fix. This is the ion chamber. Indicates the rate at which your body is being exposed to radiation. It is used to help you find the best shelter for radiation and assist and evaluate shielding improvements. Oh yes, let's see. In retrogens per hour. Nuke me, daddy. Well, this is interesting. Maybe there's nothing wrong with this thing. Okay. Rotate 0 knob until pointer is on 0. Wait. Close case, rotate selector switch to 0 position. Allow instrument a warm-up for about 2 minutes. Rotate 0 knob until pointer is at 0. I never let it warm up. Of course, I just turned it on and expected it to work. All right, let's get a battery in it. Here's the dosimeter right here. From a different era. Symptoms of radiation injury. Baked. Here's the instruction maintenance manual. High impedance circuitry. The schematic. Interesting, it has a directly heated cathode, and the meter is measuring the filament current, right? So that's a little high voltage oscillator circuit. And there's the ionization chamber. Interesting. I told you I'm getting off on a tangent here. We're no longer on the Packard Bell TV. Troubleshooting chart. Inspect solder joints. Okay, let's get a battery. Instrument reads low. Replace tube. This right here, they should put this on every pack of Duracells. Should have that on the back. I get the feeling this stuff is more gimmicky than anything. It's more like a toy. You know, to make Daddy look impressive to the family when they're all gonna like die anyway. But hey, Daddy's got this bright yellow thing and he's got his radio tuned to 6:40 a.m. Meanwhile, the whole family is being nuked slowly. Gonna slowly be eaten up, grilled, char grilled. We got our little snack packet here. We got our battery. We're letting it warm up. I thought those directly heated cathode tubes warmed up like almost instantly. Look at this, it is starting to do something. Ooh. Is it working now? Ooh. It is working. See, reading the instructions makes happy. Okay, where's our radioactive source? Well, I don't know much about these, but this does not seem like, I mean, there's that little test button, and I know it's hot, but this does not seem like it is picking anything up, and this one will pick up the... I have a couple vacuum tubes with radioactive ticklers in them that are pretty damn hot. I should go get them. Okay, so reading this, pretty gruesome, morbid stuff in here, but this ion chamber is gamma only, accumulative. This one is gamma only with the thing closed, and it picks up all forms, alpha, beta, gamma, X-rays with the window open. So you close the window to just do gamma only. And so this is what you're supposed to do with it right here. So we'll do this to the TV. But yeah, I don't think this one, I don't think there's any gamma radiation coming out of the TV. At least I seriously hope not. Looking at this one, according to the manual here, this is actually a calibration source. So for the calibration, this little thing is beta only. So open the window on the Pro preset, the center of the calibration source, which is beta radiation. The indicator should fall below 1.5 and 2.5 MR per hour. Now, I don't know how much this thing has faded or how much that thing has lost since 1977. We're going to find out. So let's see, we're on times 10 here. So 1.5 to 2.5 would be right there. Oh, here we go. That's pretty amazing. I'll let you hear it here in the headphone. Okay, so this should be the right channel. Audio stage right. And then we'll go to stage left here. Damn, it's right on, man. After all those years, everything is still right on. That is very, very comforting. These new smoke alarms don't have the radioactive source in them anymore. Just sort of a bummer. But these Western Electric 346 tubes do. These are popping, man. Thing's cooking. So yeah, I tried this with and it didn't pick it up. But maybe there's not enough gamma coming out of this. I don't know. See what this does. This is a more modern dosimeter type of thing. That gets the party started. Jeez. I don't think it likes this. This works pretty good. We have two counters here to test on our Packard Bell TV to see if we can identify any X-rays. We have the civil defense with a Geiger Mueller tube, the barrel style tubular tube. Then we have the Ludlum survey meter with a pancake style GM tube. That's this. It's the same as that. It's a GM Geiger tube. And then we have the scintillation probe. And this is super sensitive, but is supposed to be more sensitive for gamma. So we'll start with this. And we'll stick it over here on the test module. And that absolutely drives it nuts, you can see. So I'm going to this is just background right now. And this thing is very sensitive. So I'm going to come over here to the high voltage cage. So I'm really not detecting anything there above background. It's with this probe. So I'm going to switch to the GM tube. Okay, this is background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get near our test source here, okay? You can see it just pegs it. And I'm going to come over here. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, here's our civil defense with the window open. And that's background right there, and I'll put it up against the test. So I'll let it come back to background now. Now I'll go up against the back of the TV, the high voltage cage. Nothing. Nothing above background. I don't know what Consumer Reports was talking about here. I don't know if they had a TV with some primitive tubes in it that didn't have the appropriate glass, or the high voltage was cranked way up. I don't know how they were getting these X-ray readings, because I'm not getting them. And this is, the Ludlum is pretty much a very standard survey counter. I'm going to open this. The hell with it. Let's go all the way in here. So we'll go back to our test sample. Okay. We'll just nothing. The high voltage rectifier is right there. Nothing. Nothing above background. Try the Ludlum. Okay, here's the Ludlum with the scintillator probe. Okay, here's the regulator. No different. Here's the high voltage rectifier. No different. Okay, here's the pancake probe. It's the high voltage rectifier. It's like nothing. And the TV is on. There's no radiation coming out of this that I can detect, and so I don't know what the hell Consumer Reports is talking about. Let's take a look at this Admiral with the counter for X-rays. The Admiral was another one listed unacceptable in Consumer Reports for X-ray radiation. So this is basically background, hardly anything. Now, this set is missing the can off the top of the shield off the top of the high voltage can. Let's just see. Oh, and I cranked the high voltage all the way up. Let me get positioned a little better. So those are the two tubes that supposedly radiate X-rays. The one that's upside down, the rectifier, and the one right below it, the regulator. So let's see. Hello. I'm going to change to a scintillator probe, which is 100 times more sensitive. Okay, here's background with the scintillator, and I'm on times 100. Let's take it into the set. Well, I'll just walk in there. Nothing. Nothing. No detectable radiation. Seems to be a little spicy around the horizontal output. I don't know if that's just the massive RF spikes coming off of there, but yeah, nothing. Non-detectable. I don't know what the hell Consumer Reports is talking about. Maybe X-rays start up around 30K. Let's replace our let's pop it in there and see how it works. The hell with it, let's just hot swap it. Yes. Bissell Pet Hair Eraser Turbo. Whatever. We need some more of them buzzwords to make it sound like it's something more than it's really not. I mean, where do you go once you make something so... God, that tube socket's a little bit... Okay, so that's a 6AD10. Let's see if that works.
Just how much easier the Shark Stratos makes cleaning until you own a Shark vacuum.
That's because the Stratos makes it so easy to clean down low and up high. You simply can't do all of this with any other vacuum brand. Let me show you. This is Shark's famous power lift-away technology. When I press the button over here, I can remove the canister from the pole, and just like that, I can reach underneath this table to...
Typical now.
Attention, an important message for anyone diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. If you are alive,
anything. Power.
Sir, we have the 3-coin set today. These
is one reason 8 out of 10 home stamp.
Gone over to one of the marketplaces, and this is where people are selling and buying people's stolen identities. So you see, I've gone here, and I can actually search. So I'll just type in SSN, and that stands for. We got you, baby.
Dr. Z, we love your skincare videos. Thanks. My daughter has sensitive skin. Try using.
Let's try the 6AD10.
It tackles impurities without leaving.
Let's see. What's the what are the hours we're at now? It's been a few weeks. Wow. Well, we crossed over the 5,000. We're at 5,050 hours. That's pretty cool. When I hit a year on this thing, what I'm going to do is we'll do a recap of all the failures at the certain hours. But yeah, let's try the 6AD10. Everything else is still all original. The 6AD10 suffered a mechanical failure. I'm still not getting those black burn marks. Well, maybe a little bit, huh? Am I starting to get a little tungsten burn off there? Not bad. Can't believe the flyback is still not gone up in smoke. It still looks good. Yeah. All of these tubes are all still original. 5,000 hours, still trucking. Original 6GH8s. Maybe it's a myth that 6GH8s are as bad as everybody says they are. If they last 5,000 hours, are they something to worry about? Anyway. Interesting how the 6AD10 specifies color TV type in color television receivers, and the 6T10 does not. So I think this is a definite upgrade. Probably had problems with this one. You know, I think it used to be sharper, and I'm adjusting the focus and getting it as close as I can. It's getting a little soft.
Michael's lowest prices of the season sale.
I mean, it's okay, but
70% off. Save on all fall floral and decor, all Halloween decor, and more. Get our best deals on thousands of items. Plus, save on all regular price.
anyway, there's that update. I'm sure there will be another one soon. Let's take a look at this Consumer Reports thing, and I'll see you on the next one.
NetCredit. Credit to the people.
So somehow this whole little X-ray adventure led to a purchase of uranium ore. And yes, you can purchase uranium and ship it ground. So that's what we have here. And this is supposed to be a pretty hot little sample. It must be down here towards the bottom of the box. So let's open this and play with some uranium, and then I'll show you a couple of my other toxic rocks that I've acquired. A pretty small piece. That gets the party started. Probably contaminated. Let's see what we got here. Watch it scream. Not something you want to sleep with, probably, but... So this is a piece of uranium ore. And will the phone focus on it? Ooh, look at that. This thing's like, don't even... It's just like pegged. Let's see. Let's go up a little bit here. Let's go up times 100. That right there is releasing a lot more than I think the TV would in a lifetime. That's times 100. If I just set it there, it literally pegs it out. Look at that. That's really hot. And it's the yellow. The yellow is really where all the heat is. The yellow is the spicy stuff. So that is uranium. Now we'll take a look at some of the other rocks I've acquired. And thing of beauty, that's just a rock out of the ground, a uranium rock. Now we'll take a look at some of the other ones real quick, not to bore everybody with more off-topic stuff, but see if anything got on the gloves. Start spreading uranium dust all over everything. This is called cinnabar. This is the rock that contains mercury. And the way they extract it is they basically grill it or cook it in an oven and then condense the gases coming off of it. I picked these samples up from New Idria mine in California. And these are very rich. You can, if you really look with a magnifying glass, you can see the mercury beads just glistening in this. This is very rich cinnabar ore. And yeah, it's not something you want to really sleep with either. It's outgassing mercury vapor all the time. That's why I keep it in double plastic bags. So this is where mercury comes from. And there's nothing radioactive about this. It's just outgassing toxic fumes. This is molybdenum or moly. It's widely used as a lubricant additive. I got this from the Pine Creek mine, deep in the Pine Creek mine, which is a tungsten mine, but it also has some other, this is a very soft, slippery rock, molybdenum. This is galena, which is lead, zinc, silver. This is what a cat's whisker detector would be made out of for a crystal radio. This is from one of the Darwin mines. This is extremely rich lead, zinc, silver. You can measure this with an ohm meter, and it's very conductive. It's so rich. See, there's some purple in there. This is really good stuff. Not radioactive. That's probably some pyrite. From the 500 level, we went down 500 feet in one of the Darwin mines and got this. Again, it's not outgassing anything, but it is very high lead concentration. This is asbestos, everybody's favorite dessert. And I will concede that I purchased this. And if we can zoom in far enough, you can see the fibers there. See the hair-like structure? That's the fibers that asbestos is made from. This is another piece where you can really see the fibers. Melanoma.com. I've shown this before, and this is a very significant piece of ore for several reasons. This is a piece of rare earth out of the Mountain Pass Rare Earth Minerals mine, one of the only in the country. And this mine is where the europium red rare earth phosphor for CRTs came from. The CRT in this Packard Bell set has, of course, refined europium red phosphor out of this rock. And it doesn't look like much, but this also has all your rare earths for your electric cars in it. Very low levels. And this is semi-radioactive. There's a little bit of heat in this. Not a lot. I mean, it's nothing like that uranite or whatever they call that other one. But so this is background right here. And then this is up against the rock. Almost forgot this. This is a piece of scheelite ore out of the Pine Creek mine, which is tungsten. And the significance of this, Pine Creek was one of the largest tungsten mines in the United States for a lot of years. And they say that the odds are most every light bulb and vacuum tube has a tungsten filament that came out of the Pine Creek mine. I don't know if that's just advertising, but I'm not really that much into, I am into exploring mines, but I'm not really that much into rock hounding. It's an interesting curiosity because these elements are what make up a lot of these things that we work on. That are the actual power, the rare elements that are behind making vacuum tubes and phosphor for CRT screens. So this is kind of the raw material where these things come from. And it's in granite, which releases radon as it decays. So anyway, this has been a bit of an off-topic video, but there's a look at some rocks. I do need to get cadmium and a few other ones to complete my toxic rock collection. Oh, and nothing radioactive about this except the decaying granite. This would show us some interesting colors in UVC, ultraviolet light. You could see the scheelite tungsten speckles in the rock. All right, we're going to try and check out this emergency alert that's supposed to be on everything all at once. I got this little JVC radio. This will be a subject of an upcoming video. It's on KNX. I got two phones, two different carriers, and I have this on DirecTV, the classic rock music channel, no video. I mean, we're looking at the video, but I'm actually listening to the classic rock channel. So I'm curious to see, this is the guide, if they interrupt this. And there might be a siren here in Torrance. We do have some type of siren system here.
300 years ago, while the bullets were flying, was running through the crowd, pulling wounded people out of the line of fire. Hero in every sense of the word. Manhattan Beach fire apparatus now joining the procession.
Got that with a little Van Halen going in the background.
emergency lights flashing as part of the procession that'll eventually will be up the 110 freeway and into downtown Los Angeles to the coroner's office. Chris?
All right, Pete, thank you again. 4-5, but it's not helping because it's 710 now. It's backed up from Anaheim Street. A lot of folks...
This is early. It's 11:18.
As you approach the 405, they got the ramp shut down there. If you just avoid that Carson, Long Beach area until they can get that cleared up. I know that's difficult ask.
Okay, Verizon, you were early.
Not going to see any improvement until like 1 o'clock. The westbound 91, which is...
I gotta be careful to create a distraction because the music, if I don't cover it up, the music will get ID'd and it'll be a content ID thing. So you were real premature there.
Accident just reported 101.
Okay.
At the 170, a big rig and a sedan involved in this one. Your next report, 11:20 or 11:20.
Ooh, I hear it. I hear it going off in the background.
The warming trend continues here in Southern California. Today's the day where valleys with temperatures closer to triple digits as we head into Thursday, but we head into...
Boy, if this was all supposed to happen at one time, this is a real failure.
Deserts with 90s by the end of the week.
Okay, 11:19. Got to keep talking over Van Halen.
California's most accurate, dependable forecast. I'm KCON News meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX News 97.1 FM.
We're turning up the heat. Chatsworth right now 84 degrees. Corona 89. 84 degrees, both Long Beach and downtown LA at 11:19. Texas has sent another 2 busloads of asylum seekers to Los Angeles. The 71 migrants arriving at Union Station yesterday. They were originally from Guatemala.
I wonder if KNX will block out the music.
Mexico and Venezuela. Since June, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sent 22 of these busloads to LA because he says his state's border region is overwhelmed by immigrants crossing the Mexican border. The nonprofit Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights says it's cruel to put hungry, tired, and fearful people on a 30-hour bus ride without regard for their care. 2 people died early this morning in a fire that erupted in 2 La Quinta homes. The Riverside County Fire Department has received the call shortly after 2 this morning. Firefighters arrived near Avenida Martinez to find both homes engulfed in flames. Despite their courageous efforts, the fire destroyed the structures.
This is a failure.
An hour later, the cause of the fire is currently under investigation. It's 11:20 now on KNX. How stressful is buying a home these days? With a look at SoCal real estate and your money, here's Tom Busby.
Well, Chris, 3 out of 5 recent homebuyers tell Redfin purchasing a house was more stressful than dating. Say buyers are increasingly ghosting sellers. Home prices...
Okay. There's KNX.
This is a nationwide test of the Emergency Alert System, issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, covering the United States from 2:20 to 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time. This is only a test. No action is required by the public.
Oh, wow. So we got a 20-minute window on this thing?
I can just record it and send it to you.
KNX connects you to the stories that matter.
Okay, well, there's KNX. Well, I mean, a 20-minute window on a real emergency is kind of wide, I think. I mean, if we're going to get nuked, I want to know, a few minutes ahead of time. That's what these are for. Still haven't received it on AT&T, and they have not interrupted the music channel on DirecTV, which I was questioning. But if it's supposed to be all-inclusive, it's probably just partially a big data mining operation. When it goes off, who grabs their phone and starts calling people and texting and blowing their phone up, That's why I didn't touch it. I just left it alone and ignored it. It's like, who cares? But it is sort of entertaining. And it's sort of become the topic of this very bizarre video. Never did receive it on AT&T. It's 11:50. Only got it on KNX and Verizon. So half-ass attempt, FEMA. Try harder next time.
Nope. There you go. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm just kidding.
I turned mine off.
All right. I know it's, well, it works. Every couple of years, folks. Yeah.